What started as a fun school trip turned into a nightmare. Three friends secretly left their hotel at night to explore a mysterious lake in the forest. But something was waiting for them there, something that never left the water. This terrifying horror story will make you think twice before exploring abandoned places at night. In this story, you will discover a haunted forest lake, a terrifying ghost legend, the night three friends disappeared. Some locals believe the spirit of an old woman still haunts the lake, pulling people into the dark water. Watch until the end, because the truth behind the lake is even more terrifying. The lake that takes you, a true horror story. It was supposed to be a normal school trip, but that night, three friends walked into a forest. Only one came back alive, and what he told the police still terrifies the locals to this day. It was already past midnight when the school bus broke down on a lonely mountain road. With dozens of students on board, the teachers decided to stay the night in a nearby hotel and fix the bus in the morning. The hotel stood in complete isolation, surrounded by thick forest, towering mountains, and absolute silence. After dinner, the students were assigned to their rooms. A boy named Romeo was placed with his best friends, Hamish and Luke, but something outside their window caught their attention. Through the dark forest, they could see a lake, still, silent, hidden deep in the trees. And suddenly, they remembered something. On their last school trip, two students had snuck out at night, explored a mysterious place, and became legends in school. So the three boys decided, tonight, it would be their turn. When the hotel guard fell asleep, they quietly slipped outside. The lake didn't look far, but as they walked deeper into the forest, the path never seemed to end. Minutes turned into half an hour. The trees grew thicker. The cold grew sharper. And when they checked their phones, no signal. That's when they decided to turn back. But something was wrong. As Romeo and Luke walked ahead, they turned around to call Hamish. And he was gone. Then they heard it. Footsteps. Someone running in the darkness. Terrified but desperate, they followed the sound through the silent forest. And then they heard something else. Digging. Slowly, they pushed through the bushes. And what they saw froze them in place. It was Hamish, digging a hole in the ground. When they called his name, he slowly turned toward them. His eyes were completely black. Not angry, not scared, just empty. Luke tried to grab him, but suddenly Hamish screamed and shoved him with unbelievable force. Luke was thrown several feet back. Then Hamish began shaking violently, like something inside him was trying to escape. Moments later, he collapsed unconscious. When he woke up, he looked at Luke and started screaming. But Romeo noticed something even worse. Luke was sitting on the ground, head down. Slowly, he lifted his face. His eyes were black too. Before they could react, Luke suddenly stood up and ran straight into the forest. They chased him through the trees until they saw him running toward a ruined house, an ancient, broken building that looked abandoned for decades. Terrified but desperate, they followed him inside. And what they saw was impossible. Luke was floating in the air, unconscious, and standing in front of him was an old woman. Her skin hung loose from her bones. Her white hair was wild and tangled, and her eyes were completely black. She was whispering something to Luke. When the boys screamed, she turned slowly toward them. Then she began crawling down the stairs, like an insect. Romeo and Hamish ran. They ran through the forest without stopping, until suddenly they slipped and fell into the lake, the same lake they had come looking for. Under the water, Romeo felt something pulling him deeper, dragging him down. He fought his way back to the surface, but Hamish wasn't so lucky. Right in front of Romeo's eyes, Hamish was pulled under the water and disappeared forever. When Romeo woke up the next morning, he was back in the hotel. Outside, police surrounded the area. Two bodies lay on the ground, covered in white sheets. Luke and Hamish. The police called it murder, but the locals told a different story. Many years ago, an old woman lived alone in that forest house. Villagers killed her and threw her body into the lake. Since then, People say her spirit still wanders the forest at night, waiting for anyone who dares to come near her lake. And if Romeo had known that story earlier, maybe 3 friends would have returned that night instead of 1.